Hey, what's up, beautiful Bellcast listeners? Welcome to another episode. I'm Gio.
And I'm Bart, and I have a question for you. When's the last time you saw a firefly?
A firefly?
Yeah.
What the hell is a firefly?
Oh, so you've never even seen a firefly?
Those are the ones that glow at night, right?
Mm-hmm. The little butts glow.
I don't think I've ever seen one.
You never watched a movie and go, wow, those are cool.
Yeah, but I guess I just assumed the question was like in person. Like, when did you ever see a firefly in person?
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was my own experience. I didn't think it was movies.
Yeah.
Because I've seen a ton of them in cartoons.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I've seen them in movies, right? And I remember the first time I ever saw a firefly.
In person or in movies? Okay.
Yeah. So, because if you don't see it in person, it doesn't count. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. That's so surprised that you brought in the movies or TV.
Oh, so what I'm saying is, because you've never seen it in person, you never felt like you're missing a part of your life. Like, what? Everyone's seen a firefly, and I haven't seen one.
Well, that ain't shit that we talk about like during like homie conversations. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, fuck, everyone at this table has seen it except for me. It's not like doing drugs or smoking weed you know how we all have that cigarette story? It's like, when was the first time you smoked a cigarette? Like, I've never been in a group of people that were like, man, remember that time? When was it? How old were you when you saw your first firefly? You know what I mean?
I actually don't remember the first time I smoked a cigarette. Do you?
I was in high school.
You late bloomer.
Yeah, I was a good kid, I guess. So I was in high school, and how did I get my hands on a cigarette? I don't even know, but I feel like one time.
You don't even remember your first time you smoked a cigarette?
It was in high school. I was like 15.
Tell me.
Yeah. I don't remember the first time, but I remember
So you don't remember the first time?
God damn it. Do you want me to answer or not?
Do you remember or do you not?
Do you want to hear the story or not?
The jury needs to know.
Do you want to hear the story or not?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So I don't know if this was my first time or not, but I know this was within the same time frame, because the first time I tried it doesn't necessarily mean that I like continued smoking. It was more like I tried it and I'm like, nah, that shit ain't for me. And I went back to weed. But one of those first few times that I smoked a cigarette, one of them was actually like half lit already, maybe by like a friend or something. And they probably put it out, and I had it for maybe a few days or something. And then I smoked it again.
So you had leftovers?
Yeah. Because I just didn't have access to cigarettes the way you did.
And what did you think? Were you like?
I was like, this is nasty, but I felt cool.
You felt old, huh?
No, cool.
Older?
No. Cool.
More mature? Because isn't cool come with being older? Because I remember when I was smoking, I was maybe 12. And I remember when I smoked, I was like, man, I'm in high school. Like, I had that feeling. Like,
you were 12?
Yeah. And I'm like, man, I'm in high school now. But I'm not. But it just feels older because I would see the high school kids doing it. And I'm like, I'm older.
You know what's crazy?
You never felt that?
I guess maybe I did. Maybe I did.
And then after you're done.
I don't think that was the emphasis,
and then
though.
when you're done, right? Like, you gotta, like, people that smoke cigarettes so much, they're so comfortable with it. They do so many mannerisms that
they see on TV or something.
Well, they do so many mannerisms that are subconscious. And the more subconscious it is, the cooler. So if someone takes out a cigarette, right, out of their mouth, and then they have to look to flick, to ash it, and then they have to look somewhere to like put it out, they look kind of like a loser. You're like, you're not a cool smoker. I didn't even know that existed. But when someone's smoking, they're talking to you, yeah, and they're flicking it. You know what I mean? And they kind of like, or if they even aware of their surroundings, they're on a bridge or on a pier. They put it over the ocean. So that's what you did when you killed those people. That's pretty cool. And then you're like this, you smoke, and then when they're done, they just kind of flick it, and without even looking where they flicked it on the floor, they just step on. Oh yeah, I killed about 5 people too. And then they're just going like this.
What happens after they fucking step on it, you motherfuckers? What happens after?
I don't know. That's that part. That's where the movie ends. So I don't know. But when I see it, I'm like, man, that guy's so cool. He did all of that without ever looking at it.
Yeah, that is cool. Or I also like when they're talking, and then they have to like kind of squint one eye because just the smoke is there, but they're just like so into the conversation. They're like, oh yeah, you think you know that guy? You think? And then they go, and they're like really stressed. So then they like smoke out of the corner of their mouth. Yeah. And then they just hold it with 2 fingers, and they're just like,
no, I know that guy more than you know him.
What do you mean? Oh, the movie.
Well, I don't know. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm the scene partner.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry. I'm a little rusty right now. But yeah, I like that. Or if it's like a mystery movie or if he's like an old school detective and stuff. Oh, you know which one I like too? When they have it hanging from their mouth. Because they're just so cool. And it's just their lips are all dry. So it just sticks to their mouth and they're still talking and the thing's just flying.
They're just cleaning their weapons.
I just hate how cool smoking looked.
It is
because
really
smoking
cool.
is fucking disgusting.
Can you believe
it's foul? You smell nasty. Your mouth tastes nasty. The fingers in which you hold however you hold the cigarette, that part of your hand stinks.
It stays like that. If you smoke for a long time, it actually smells like that.
I never consistently smoked.
Yeah.
I probably smoked. The most I probably smoked was consistently for maybe like a month or 2 months. If anything else, it was like social smoking, and me being social was very rare.
Yeah.
So I never really got addicted to cigarettes. But yeah, I just couldn't get addicted actually because it was just so fucking foul. But it just looks so cool.
Can you believe that? I think in the 50s they
doctors would smoke in front of fucking pregnant women. They
would prescribe it like it was good for you.
That's crazy, right?
So like,
wasn't it for anxiety and stress and stuff?
Yeah. So when you're in the 50s, and the doctors, based off the evidence then, and also, you know, like lobbying always exists. Lobbying meaning, for people who don't know, big corporations
bribing.
They always have funding to do legal bribing, and it's not really straight up bribing. Like, hey, talk good about this.
But it's pretty much the same thing.
It's like, hey, I have a team of scientists, all PhDs. I want you to find research on when smoking does have positive effects. So they'll conduct like 50 different studies. This one's negative effects. Throw that, would pretend that didn't exist. That didn't exist. That didn't exist. And finally, when there's like that, anything that breaks over the threshold, maybe it's like, oh, it has a 10% improvement because of this, because of whatever controlled circumstance. They take that and then now they market that, right? So they did that with cigarettes, and then that was that thing that was promoted back in the 50s. But they didn't know that it was bad for you back in the 50s. It waited until later. And so, since I know that whole like process exists still, I'm like, how many things are they promoting to us that we won't know?
Fully studied?
Yeah, that we won't know until later that it's bad for us.
Literally, the thing I think about, and I was just thinking about this like maybe a couple days ago, our cell phones.
That's what I was thinking about.
Oh my God, are we soulmates?
I think so.
Did we just become best friends?
Yes.
That's like from our favorite movie. Anyway.
Yeah, Step Brothers.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think about that all the time. I'm just like, fuck it. And then I think of George Lopez's latest stand-up, and I'm just like, I ain't trying to live forever. And then that's how I can ease my anxiety, like my anxious mind of going like, fuck, am I going to get cancer in the fucking ear or in the eye or in the stomach? Or like, what radioactivity am I consuming right now holding this phone?
There is some sort of relief living with the mentality of
I ain't trying to live forever.
Yeah, kind of like I'll just take it as it comes. I think sometimes when you think about the future too much, it does stress you out. Like if I start thinking about, okay, so I got this cell phone on me. I'm on the iPhone 10. I'm already behind. There's people with 11. So there's all these years of cell phone usage and waves, electromagnetic waves, going through me. We don't have that many studies on it yet. But what if all of a sudden 30 years later, I find out it's so bad for me? And you start going like that and you start getting freaked out and go, oh, that's just like the cigarette industry. They say it's good for you. You get freaked out, right? Versus just kind of like the chill Hawaiian way, like, whatever, brah. And then you kind of just like, that don't exist if it's not in front of me. But then the other side that makes me like that, though, is the ahead thinker, the future guy inside of you. That's what helps you plan ahead. And that's what helps you stack your successes and build your wealth and build all those other things. Because, like the whatever, brah. He's like, how many coconuts you want? Just give me one, brah. He's not trying to get 10 plus 10 plus 10. And then, I'll freeze him, brah. And now I'll retire. Now I have 1 million coconuts, brah.
Who's the Hawaiian fighter that you like?
BJ Penn.
The other one.
Max Holloway.
Yeah. So
it is what it is.
There we go, baby. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Like sometimes.
Do you apply that to everything though?
No, I don't. I make a lot of calculated risks. So
it's not it is what it is. It is what I calculate.
It is the risky shit I calculated is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what helps me ease my own anxiety is thinking it is what it is. So like I've told this story several times, but the
Can you
first
tell
time
it
I
a
ever,
different way then?
fine. So there was these two chickens,
One's name is Meredith and the other one's what?
Beth.
Okay, Meredith and Beth.
Yes.
Pecan?
Yeah. So they took their first plane ride, and something happened where they switched up their tickets. They ended up sitting in the wrong seats.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know.
Poor chickens.
Meredith and Beth, and they were kind of scared. This was their first international flight.
They didn't throw them in the back with the rest of the livestock?
No, so that's what I said. I already prefaced it, right?
That's
I
very
said
nice.
that some mix up in the seating.
Yeah.
So then this is their first international flight. They experienced some really bad turbulence. And then Meredith turns to Beth, and then she goes, because Beth is clearly very, very scared because this plane just keeps dropping.
She doesn't have the window seat, does she?
She does.
So she can see all of it.
Well, it was nighttime, so she can't see too much because it's all black.
Sometimes that's scarier.
Okay, well,
can't see anything.
she was pretty shaken up.
Okay.
All right, she was pretty shaken up. So then Meredith just looked at her because Beth was like, man, how are you handling this so well? And then Meredith just looked at her and then she was just like, honestly, I guess if it's my time to go, it's my time to go. And then Meredith just knocked out.
Just knocked out just like that.
Yeah. She was very comfortable with that thought. Like, if it's my time to go, it's my time to go.
So Beth is just a scared chicken. Did she go to sleep?
Well, the point is I'm Meredith. So
I
that's
see.
what helped my anxiety because he wanted me to tell the story differently.
Who's Beth?
I don't know. I just...
Bye.
I know who it is. It was just you remember the J-Rod twins?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about them?
They were very, very scared because we were going
Shout
through
out to
some
the
crazy.
J-Rod twins.
I love them so much. Yeah, I was so scared that, we were just going through some really bad turbulence headed to Malaysia. And this was like literally months after the first Malaysian airplane just disappeared. And we were like, oh, fuck. Is this going to be us? Are we next? Is this going to happen again? And then he looked at me and he was like, I think it was Jason that looked at me and was like, hey, are you scared? And I could see how scared they were that I was like, nah. Because inside my own head, I was going, fuck, I'm going to die. And then what eased me was, well, if it's my time to go, it's my time to go. And then I just kind of like relaxed.
That's kind of how I feel too on the planes. Like when it gets really turbulent.
Because what can you do, right?
Like sometimes they'll feel like my center of gravity shifted 3 feet in 1 second.
Jesus Christ.
And I'm like, holy shit. And you get those butterfly feelings. And I'm like, fuck, am I going to die?
And then you look to the freaking stewardesses, right?
Well, I look, if she's there, that's great. But if she's not even there, nowhere to be found, I'm like, hey, if I die right now, fuck it. And I think I've actually learned that from doing risky shit as a kid.
I think so. I think I learned that too.
Because there's times where like we're standing on a wall, right? Like climbing between houses. And you look at the floor and then you're like, should we jump? And we're like, fuck, this thing's like 6 feet in the air, which is like twice our height. Fuck it. You know, and we just kind of deal with the consequences and you jump. And then sometimes it's not as bad as you think.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is as bad as you think.
And sometimes it's worse than what you thought.
But then you're just like,
fuck it.
It is what it is.
Yep. If it's my time to go, it's my time to go.
And that kind of mentality kind of translated to, I remember when everyone started driving, there was no such thing as not racing. You know, literally, like if we met up on this street called Hershey Avenue outside of Marquepo. And if we're going to go get pho or Vietnamese coffee or boba, we're freaking flying 90 miles an hour down the street, like the whole squad, 6 cars. And then
There
from
were only
there,
3 cars.
or however many cars going. And then if we're going to go to the movies, like
There's
that.
4 cars. Those 6 cars.
Yeah, like that. Like literally like that. And then, but that's also how I got into one of the biggest accidents of my life where it delayed me going to the boot camp by like a week because I was hospitalized. But I think
fuck it. It is what it is.
It is what it is. And then when I was in the hospital, I was just laying there. I'm like, you know, I think that's one thing that I think that I'm really blessed, that I feel like I'm blessed with is
you're impossible to kill.
No, like my mindset, I think because I really enjoy stories and I enjoy sharing stories, regardless if it's on camera or not. I just like collecting experiences, that there is no real ego I'm trying to protect that much. Obviously, I have ego. Everyone has ego, right?
Oh, yeah.
But like in terms of like people that go like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm gonna get my ass beat. So because of they're trying to protect their ego, like whoever they are on a pedestal, they don't want to tarnish that image. So they don't want to do something. I don't want to get my ass beat. I don't want this to happen to me. I don't want this to happen to me because I am this and the world sees me as this and I see myself as this. So they want to preserve this pedestal. For me, if I win, awesome. I have a story about victory. If I lose, I have a story about getting my ass fucking beat, which is also awesome and it's funny.
It is very funny.
So because of that, I don't think I have as much of an ego because I'm not trying to protect a certain image. And it allows me to just be more free and do whatever the fuck I want. Like half of the videos on the Barbell Brigade channel is just me losing that shit to other people. But through it, I'm having a lot of fun. And these are experiences that someone else that's trying to protect themselves would have never had. But that whole thing, I think it makes me a pretty happy person.
Yeah, you're a pretty happy person. Before we continue with that, let me introduce our sponsor.
Shout outs to Hydrant for sponsoring the Bart and Geo podcast. Dude, do you know how many benefits there are to being hydrated? Well, drinking enough water is critical for a healthy lifestyle. It increases your brain power, boosts your productivity, prevents headaches, increases your focus, improves your skin and mood, helps your digestion, gives you energy, even prevents bad breath, and can help you lose weight. And the most important one to me, it keeps your body regulated so you can have a good night's sleep. And that's why it's so important to stay hydrated. So Hydrant has created a refreshing electrolyte powder that you mix directly into water to more efficiently and effectively hydrate your body. It hydrates you quickly and keeps you going for longer. So all those days of having to drink tons and tons of water, now you have something that is way more optimized for your body. So you don't have to drink as much to stay hydrated. Each rapid hydration mix has the 4 essential electrolytes your body needs: sodium, potassium, magnesium, and zinc, and it packs a punch to help your body hydrate fast and stay hydrated. And if you're looking for that extra boost of energy, there's also Hydrant Plus Caffeine, which contains 100 milligrams of caffeine from green tea. Hydrant is also backed by research. The formula was developed by an Oxford scientist, is also loved by pro athletes, top performers, celebrities, and has thousands of 5-star reviews. It's made with real fruit juice powder. It's delicious and refreshing and comes in a variety of flavors. My favorite being the iced tea lemonade. If you pack that thing with a bunch of ice and you shake it up, it is so refreshing, especially on a hot summer day. And not only does it taste good, it will keep you hydrated. Plus, it's backed by a 100% satisfaction guarantee. If you don't love it, send it back for a full refund. Hydrant starts at just $1 a packet. It's so cheap for a 30-day supply. Save even more with a monthly subscription. And we got a special deal for all of our listeners to save 25% off your first order. Go to drinkhydrant.com/Beaw, B-E-A-W, or enter our code BEAW at checkout. That's drinkhydrant, HYDRANT.com/Beaw, and enter code BEAW for 25% off your first order. Stay hydrated during these hot days, y'all.
And we're back. Yeah, I would agree. You are a pretty happy person. And I think that's what really attracted me towards you, was the fact that you already kind of look intimidating a little bit, because you just have like this really straight posture and this really massive head. And
what about massive heads are intimidating?
I just wanted to throw that. I just wanted to
God damn it,
kick you in the nuts a little bit.
Fine.
And
Ow.
You're not a small dude. You know what I mean? So then for you to be goofy, it's like this juxtaposition, because normally dudes that are a little bit more jacked and have your type of posture, they're trying to prove something. But then when I saw you just run and try to hide from the group in bushes, I'm like, what the fuck is this 20-plus-year-old doing, running into bushes thinking it's funny? And I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And you are a pretty happy guy.
Yeah, a lot of people would look at the Jackass Squad as almost like a circus group, right? Like people I laugh at. And when I see that,
they're pretty fucking badass.
But they look at a group like, I would never do that.
Like they're losers or
I would
something?
never flick myself on the dick. Like they see them as entertainment material, not I relate. You know what I mean? It's different. It's different when Like,
because they seem crazy.
like,
where
like,
you're
like when Kevin Hart tells his stand up and he's that funny, you're like, ha, I relate. He's kind of cool at the same time because everyone's trying to protect their ego, right? Jackass, they're more of the people that like, they do crazy shit. They sit on a cactus with their bare anus and you're like, that's really funny, but I don't relate. I'm laughing at you, not with you. And that's how I think a lot of people view that because they have this themselves on a pedestal where they're like, I'm better than that. That's funny, but I'm better than that. You know when you have the homie, someone does something and they're like, oh, you're trying to like, nah, I'm good, doc. And you're like, okay, Mr. Too Cool.
Yeah.
So when I look at the Jackass Squad, I actually think like when they're having beers, how many dope fucking stories do they have? Like when they're sitting around a campfire and they're just chilling and relaxing and not putting it on for camera, like how colorful are their memories? How colorful are their conversations compared to the Too Cool people? And I actually really like that, you know? And for them, I feel like a lot of them have way less ego. They just go, fuck it, that sounds crazy, let's go do it. Because there's only two outcomes. One, I make that jump over the lake. Or two, I fucking smash into the lake and it'll be the funniest video I've ever made. And I really, really like that.
Yeah.
Do you feel that about, do you ever feel like that? Or you gotta like, you're like, I'm a lady, I can't be doing that kind of stuff. Because I feel like
I'm definitely not crazy like you.
Because I feel like ladies got more rules than guys do.
Well, I don't know if it's a rules thing. Well, I mean, it might be a rules thing. But yeah, I mean, we're just, like, I can't speak for all girls. I
don't see videos of chicks like freaking pussy slapping each other and then thinking it's funny.
Well, it doesn't hurt the way it would a guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but how many girls are grabbing other girls' tits? I'm going to get one of these gums because.
Or how many girls are like snorting wasabi?
I don't know, man. Now, these times, it's a different time.
Is it?
It's very different. And I've seen a lot. I mean, girls aren't as stupid as boys.
Very true, too.
Or we're just stupid in different ways.
Yeah.
We're just stupid in different ways. But for us to do physical shit like that, it's not really our thing. You know what I mean?
It is, but it's not.
Okay, give it to me. Give it
right
to
now?
me. What do you mean?
I'm going to give it to you real good right now.
Your thoughts.
Oh.
Give me your thoughts.
So on the same token, I definitely agree. I think girls just aren't as physical as guys. Like I think almost, I don't know.
We don't get up and wrestle each other.
Yeah, I don't know if it's biological. Like you could see like Taika, he loves to get down and dirty. And like even after I tickle him for like a whole like 3 minutes and I let him go and he's crying, like, get off me, help. He can't wait to come back and roughhouse with me again. Like he just loves it. You know, he just loves that environment. Girls are more like doop-a-doop-a-doo. So on that sense, I'm like, yeah, that's true. I don't think girls are as physical as guys. But in the last 3 to 5 years, the amount of females getting into physical sports like powerlifting, CrossFit, MMA, jiu-jitsu, it's pretty crazy. And the ones that are emerging in the last 3 years, they're really good, which means they've been practicing the last 10 to 15 years. So technically, they've been the emergence of female with this new physicality has been going on for like since 2000, you know, like for a good 20 years now, probably.
The hell you just said a few years, like 3 to 5 years.
The emergence of it, us seeing it.
Oh, I see.
It's
been in the making.
Yeah, we had a good
forever.
friend that his dad's a judo sensei. He's in judo, and he said that during the judo like summer camp, because he was supposed to be on track to go into like nationals and Olympics and stuff, he would see Ronda Rousey as a 13-year-old. So I mean, she didn't just make it an MMA, you know,
Right.
like in the last 5 years, like she.
Wasn't she Olympian too?
Yeah, she was an Olympian. So to even get to be an Olympian, like she's been in the physical sports since I don't know how long, like 30 years ago.
Yeah, okay, but I feel like that's still a little bit different than how like we choose to play, right? Because even like an organized sport like that, there's like a practice time and I don't know. I feel like, yes, there's some girls that are a little bit more physical than other girls, but I don't see too many that are like crazy, like Jackass style.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But that's
true.
what I'm saying. The emergence is
Maybe the mindset's changing.
even like across
I don't even know if it's in our genes though to be that way.
I don't know, but it seems like
we're like naturally more women tend to be nurturers. I don't know if that's something we're born with or if it was programmed into us.
Yeah.
But like girls tend to be more that way and then guys tend to
yeah, but like is it social or is it genetic? I don't know. Because a lot of the things that I thought was genetic were actually just social pressures over decades and centuries.
Well, it's one of them.
And then so like this, like girls not being that physical.
Okay.
And so now you see this emergence. It's almost like you take the social pressures off, right? And then girls start, it's almost like, yeah, you create funnels in the dirt. And then you're like, all right, cool, release the dam. And then the water that used to only go this way and made me go, oh yeah, the gravity only pulls this way. That's natural. I see water outlets going all this way too now. And I'm like, oh wait, was it nature?
No.
Was it genetic or is it the social pressures?
Well, I think it's just maybe you're a guy and you lived in a man's world for so long.
Yeah.
But me being a woman and being around other women and dealing with them more intimately than I guess you would.
Yeah.
I've always seen girls being having that physicality that you're talking about. Whether if we were playing like jump rope or like fucking hopscotch or even when I played, when we played volleyball or tetherball or handball, I always saw the girls that were really, really good.
No.
But maybe you just had guy eyes. And because it wasn't put in a professional setting, for you, it just wasn't validated.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what it is. But I've always had, like, in my girl circle, I've always had, like, a really athletic or few athletic chicks that were just naturally gifted, whether they were, like, really great fucking fast runners or they were just, like, really good at playing a specific sport. Like, I've always had girls that were, like, really good physically.
Oh, dang. Yeah, I only knew of when we used to play basketball during recess in 5th grade. There's only one chick that was really good, and she played with us. And I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, maybe
because all the other chicks would just go and like sit on the grass and talk.
Well, I mean, it's that could be societal too. That type of programming, but I'm speaking in terms of like the physicalness. Like we're no different than guys, right? Like obviously, like. Guys would be strong, depending on the guy, depending on the girl, right? But I'm just talking in terms of play. We just don't play that way. Like, it's not in us to just, like, be physical, like, do physical comedy type shit like that. Like,
socially or just genetically? Because that's what to me, I'm like, is it because you don't play that way because people don't want you? So for me, I don't know, right? For me, I'm like...
Well, I guess I'm basing it off of little kids that I see. Right, because that's most free.
But we also have the little kids where we noticed, oh shoot, like the guy section of the toy store is monster trucks. The girl section is kitchenware and like little dolls, right? So it's like when you think about it, you're like, oh shoot, is it?
It's been programming.
Is it the kids that like this, or is it the adults that have been slowly marketing towards that? And also, oh yeah, if you're a kid, if you're a dude, you should have blue stuff. If you're a girl, you should have pink stuff. Yeah. So is it that they naturally are inclined or they've been fed that,
Possibly, but I think I'm only basing it off of like toddlers that I see because now I see more, when it's like out of mind, it's also out of sight, right? Because there's also out of sight, out of mind. But if you're not thinking about it, it doesn't exist. So it's like when you want to buy like a new car and like you've never noticed this car before, but then now that you're considering buying this car, now you start seeing it more and more on the street.
Yeah.
So because now I have a kid, I'm also looking at other kids' behavior within, my friend circle. And I noticed such a significant difference from my 2-year-old to who's a male to someone else's 2-year-old who's a female. Like just the temperament is completely different. And that's what I kind of base it off of. I mean, I have no fucking research to back this up other than my own eyeballs. But yeah, I feel like toddlers are pretty free, right? Like for the most part, they tell you what they want and what they don't want. And I think after the fact, like I think when they start reaching 3, 4, 5, that's when the programming starts happening a little bit more and more and more because now it's like what you see on the TV, And now it's way better than it was when we were kids. But yeah, I'm just looking at like how girls behave and how girls play versus how I see boys play. And I'm like, holy shit, it's a world of a difference.
Yeah, but programming even starts at day one.
That's true.
You know, like
That's true.
Like when you're a dad, at least from my perspective, when I'm a dad and and I have a son, or if you have a dad and you have a daughter, the minute you kind of understand who this thing is supposed to be,
You start being more delicate or more rough.
yeah, you're already like,
Roughy
I
housey.
know what you're supposed to be, so I treat you accordingly, right?
Yeah.
So like, even for me, I have my own biases, so I know Taika is supposed to be like this kind of tough dude, so he's like falls off the bed. Oh, that's cool. You know, it's like it's a little bit.
You think
different.
it'd be different if it was a little girl? You would baby her a lot more.
I don't know. I don't even know if I can control it. You know, it could be biases that I have innately in me, and it could be like a little girl, and like, oh, that's supposed to be a little princess.
Yeah.
You know, and then you just so without knowing that, you're already programming. You're a princess. You're delicate.
Yeah. I took this test to see if you're like, I guess, gender bias. And it was such an interesting test I took. It's like a free online test. So how accurate this is, who knows? But it definitely made me think of just how subconsciously I'm already considering just inanimate objects to be related to females and males, or having feminine or masculine traits
Like
to
colors, right?
Well, no, even more abstract than that. And it's like subjects, just different subjects, right? So when you think of arts, do you think of arts as being more masculine or feminine?
Oh, feminine.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And then if you think of history, is it more masculine or feminine?
Masculine.
Right.
Yeah.
So then, but it shouldn't even be that
It
way.
shouldn't be. Yeah.
Right. But that's just how this is the generation and how we were raised. But now so I guess just seeing those results, I was like, holy shit, I didn't even realize I considered these things that way. Because why should history be masculine? Why can't history just be history and it's not tied to any specific thing? Or you think of both, right?
Yeah.
But like you, I thought art was way more feminine, which it's not and it shouldn't be. And then,
And there's so many artists that are males.
right,
Yeah.
famous artists. And there's nothing very masculine. There's nothing masculine or feminine about it. It just depends on the person creating the art.
Yeah.
But that's how I thought about it. History, same thing. Math, same thing. English was more feminine for me. What about you?
I think that's more feminine. Yeah.
Right, but why? Right?
Yeah, it's weird.
So it was so interesting.
It's so weird, yeah.
And it was very eye-opening for me. So because I was exposed to that, now I'm very aware, and at least I try to be a little bit more aware and more conscious of how I'm viewing things and how I'm considering things. Because I'm like, fuck, what other things in my daily life does this mindset seep into that I've been programmed to think? And maybe the girls not being more physical like that might be one of those, you know? But I mean, yeah, I can only just base it off my own personal experience. And we just didn't fuck around like that. We also don't fuck around with like pranks and stuff like that. And that's not even a gender thing. It's just that's just not how I like to play.
Yeah.
So maybe if I was put in a group where if I was more pranky and stuff and more physical comedy, maybe my girls in that circle would be that way.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just a group that I'm with, or I've always put myself in.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I just don't see it. I just don't see girls being pranky like that.
Yeah. I don't see girls being pranky that much.
Damn,
either.
maybe that's the thing we should do. Females out there, if
Do
you
pranks.
start doing that shit.
I guarantee you, anything that's like
female
that,
Jackass.
anything that's 1 in a million, people
gonna
that are
kick ass.
people that are looking to go viral for something new, that's the way to go. You know, like if you do that new one person going against the grain thing, and you have a female Jackass crew, that's gonna be really tight.
Yeah, it's gonna be really, really dope. When you can break the gender stereotypes and norms, like you said, that 1 in a million thing, it's gonna be really good.
Yeah. Yeah. But I really do enjoy seeing all these new, like, you know, one of my favorite, I don't even know where it's from. I don't know if it's from a Nike ad or from a Vice documentary, but there's all these like Muslim little girls in the Middle East on skateboards in their half pipe on still wearing their traditional like attire.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's fucking dope. I'm like, look what happens when you take off like your own biases and restrictions. Like, look how kids naturally play and how free they are. I'm like, that's fucking amazing.
It is. And then you start realizing how many restrictions you put on yourself and how many roadblocks subconsciously that you're putting on yourself, and you don't even realize it.
That's one thing I fucking hated about my parents that I think it made me the way I am. So growing up, my mom always told me, this is old time thinking, so you can't even blame her for this. But she was like, white people are the standard of the world. And
That's so sad.
Yeah. So she goes, white people are the standard of the world.
Not that it's the standard of the world. It's just sad that she had those limitations already.
Yeah.
And she put them on you.
Yeah, yeah. And then she goes, so you want to be as white as possible. Whatever the white people do, that's what you want to do. And also, white people are the strongest genetically in their bodies. She's like, their bone density is just different from ours. They don't catch colds.
Where did she learn that from?
They don't catch colds as much. They're just really strong. Like she's like, if you see white people, they can go out and just wear t-shirts and tank tops. I mean, shorts and tank tops at the beach, and they're not cold. They're not bundled up like Asians. And then I was like, as I got in the beginning, I was like, yeah, that's true. She's like, you see all those, she's like, you see like all the white movies, the action star never has a shirt on. He's just not even cold. And so I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. That's right. Chuck Norris, like, he's always shirtless. Sylvester Stallone's
I like how this makes
shirtless.
sense that your mom is saying that, because she's deathly afraid of the cold. Like, everything I know about your mom is her just avoiding the cold.
Yeah. So she would say all these things, right? And then as I got older, I'm like, wait, but you know when you go to like Rite Aid or Thrifties, that's an entire drugstore made of white drugs for white people. When you go to like 99 Ranch, the row of like the concept of a drugstore doesn't even exist in Asia. You go to a pharmacy, you know, like there's like the concept of over-the-counter drugs doesn't even really exist in Asia until like modern day now, but like 10 years ago.
Well, what's the herb store? What is that? It's the same thing.
Yeah, but that's more like ingredients. That's like going to like the spice section of El Superior. You know, it's like spices. That's literally what the herb stuff is. Like rosemary, thyme, you know, it's like that.
Yeah, but okay. So you're just saying that you guys didn't have...
I started seeing the contradictions of what my mom is saying. She's like, if white people bodies are so strong, why the hell do they have these things called like migraines and all these other... They have they have the biggest supply of medications. If they're so healthy, why do they have the biggest supply of medications that I've never seen at any Asian store? So that was my first couple of question marks. And then like when I would get into like physical things, immediately she'd be like, oh, no, that's only for black and white people. But black and white people are strong like that. Like Asians, no, you're frail and weak, so you can't do that. Like you can get broken in half. So like there's all these like subconscious like limitations, and I think luckily for me, I'm so rebellious that I'm like, fuck you. If you say I can't do it, I'm gonna do it more.
Yeah, that's how I am.
So I think I got into a lot of more physical stuff like wrestling or even like joining the Marine Corps, where I'm like,
prove it
I'm
wrong.
an extreme minority. I don't know if it's a subconscious driver.
Yeah, for sure.
But it made me want to go 100% against what she's saying. And also it's just, and the sad part is because she thinks Asians are cold and frail and weak. I was showing you all those pictures of me sleeping in like double robes and blankets when I'm the hottest person in the world. I'm like sweating my ass off all the time. And she's tying me up in those things. And I'm like, Mom, white people aren't the only people that are warm. I'm very, very warm. And she's like, no, you're not. You need more ginseng and you need to get wrapped up.
Fuck. Sorry. But I'm the same way. I didn't get limitations like that because those
Did they
are
ever
pretty...
explain like these things to you? Like,
of course, because and it was more of like a male versus female, right? I'm like, damn. Well, why can that? How come I can't do that? Or how come I can't go there? Or why can't I stay out? Or why can he do that and I can't? You know, and it's like, well, because you're a woman, you're a girl. We have to protect you. And I'm like, I don't need protection, motherfucker. Like. I was also very rebellious.
Did they ever tell you, oh, be careful of this race because this race can beat you up?
No.
Oh, that's really good.
No, never that.
Because my mom would say that kind of shit. And I'm like, then why the fuck am I doing Kung Fu then? If it's going to get me nowhere. And I'm like, and why the fuck did all these races, different races, learn Kung Fu from Bruce Lee if just by race alone, you can beat people up? And then she would just get mad at me.
Yeah, definitely old school thinking for sure. But I didn't get that. And also my parents came here when they were in high school. So maybe they had more diversity, whereas maybe your mom in her time in Taiwan, she probably was only around Asian people. So it's a lot of like rumors and fucking hearsays happening. That could be it. But yeah, for me, it was never like this race versus that race. It was more like we're trying to assimilate into this thing. Like that's one thing I never, maybe I should talk to my parents about this, but, or at least my mom, because RIP dead, but I never really felt this sense of mega proud of being Mexican in this country. Like that was never something that was really emphasized in our household. Or maybe I missed the mark and I just wasn't paying attention, and I just didn't catch on to it. But I never really felt this pride of being Mexican. If anything, it was more, I was like ashamed that I wasn't, that I grew up in a Mexican household with, and we didn't have like all the American things that I thought that we should have, like my mom taking me to soccer practice, or my mom cooking me like a sandwich, or like making me a sandwich. You know, I hated that. Like we would watch Spanish TV. I'm like, fuck, man. Like, why can't we have cable and watch like white people TV?
You wanted to watch more white people shows?
Yeah. Because for me, I hated that I even knew Spanish.
Really?
Yeah. Because I'm just like, fuck. I think because in the area that I grew up, so I grew up in East LA, and in that time it was very gang infested and there was a lot of drugs happening. It wasn't a very safe neighborhood at all. So I think my environment was something to be ashamed of, because it was like, you don't want to be like that guy. You don't want to be like that girl. You don't want to end up like them. You don't want to end up on food stamps or selling drugs or being easy or getting pregnant. You know, you don't want to be a hoodlum.
I could relate to that.
So then, because that was what was in my immediate vicinity and I was shielded from that I'm like, oh yeah, these people are losers. Like, I don't want to be a loser like that. You know, and now, and maybe that could be it, why I didn't feel this pride, or why they didn't make me feel proud to be a Mexican, or they were just fucking busy. You know, like I'm kid number 3 out of 4. And my parents, like I said, you know, they came over here with nothing from Mexico, and all my parents knew how to do was just fucking work to survive. So that could be it too, because like my mom and my dad didn't really raise me. Like they were very responsible, and I never had to worry about money or food or any of that stuff. Like I wasn't forced to work to bring back money to the family. My sister definitely raised me way more, because she's 15 years older than me. So when I was 5, she's already 20 something, you know?
Yeah.
Or 20, going on 21. But so she definitely raised me. But I say all this to say that it wasn't more of an ethnicity thing that I felt held me back. It was more like a male-female thing, where it's like, females don't do that, or you can't sit that way. Girls shouldn't sit that way. And I'm like, fuck that shit. I'm going to sit however the fuck I want to sit.
You actually did that?
I mean, as much as I could.
When they're not looking.
Yeah. I mean, because they're still your parents.
Yeah.
They still have the ultimate authority over you. So you can't like rebel as like too hard before getting grounded. Or, fuck, I wanted to get grounded. I never even got grounded. I just got either like, I don't know, like yelled at, or like.
Yeah, when you're growing up, I think you just want to be like everything you see and like the norm, right? The quote unquote norm. I remember being ashamed for Chinese for being a long time. Because I grew up in
What the fuck did you just say? Chinese being for a long time?
No, I was ashamed for being Chinese.
Okay.
Because I grew up in a pretty diverse city. But out of the Asians, Koreans were the most dominant ones. And so like, and then, you know, like they're
predominant.
And then they're kind of like, in terms of from the American standpoint, at that point, they're kind of like a new race, like a new culture that's being introduced, right? So there's not that many like racial slurs. Like even like for
the rest of the world, Koreans are just fucking Chinese people.
Exactly.
Back in the day.
Yeah. So
no one cared.
So even like the whole Mexican rhyme, the
Chino japonés. Yeah, that's horrible.
Like, it's only Chinese and only Japanese, because they don't even know what Koreans are.
That's what we knew. Yep.
Right. So like all the ching chang whatever stuff
still applied to Koreans
that I heard in elementary school directly hit me. It was at me. The Koreans would even say that to me. And then the people don't even know how to make fun of the Koreans, because they go ching chong, and they're like, I'm Korean. And they're like, what is that? Yeah, so they don't even know, right? So the Koreans out of the Asians, they kind of became like this invisible race that no racial slurs can hit them with. And then I got all of it. And then when they make fun of me and they go ching chong like that, I'm like, that actually does sound like what I speak at home.
You hated it.
Yeah, so it would suck. And I'm like, why was I born Chinese? Why couldn't I be Korean, right? And then I would see all the really cool shit from back in the day, like 70s and 60s of Bruce Lee stuff. And I'm like, man, Chinese shit is really cool. But it was like, how come no one knows this? And it was just like, I had my own secret history and my own bunch of movies that I like. But at that time in the early 90s, it wasn't popular. It wasn't popular to be Chinese. And I felt out of place too. You know, like, and there was very few Chinese. It was like me and like 2 other people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fucking bummer, right? Like the shit that our parents get programmed with that then program us. And that's some shit I always think about. Because I'm like, fuck. Like I really try to pay attention to my actions and my words as much as I can. But I'm human and I'm sure I fuck up more than I do good. But I really try to see where my no's or my yeses or my cautions, where all that comes from. Because I'm like, is it just me being scared of shit? Or is this something that I can foresee him getting injured? So a lot of the stuff that he does, I'm like scared. But I'm like, no, he's got to do it because I don't want my fears to interfere with his growth.
Yeah.
But it's hard, dude.
I always think better injured than safe.
Because at least he tried it?
Because he learned it. Like actually learned it in the way that nature intends, right? So like if you're an animal, you're roaming the jungle, you're supposed to go, what the hell is that? You smack the skunk sprays you, you're like, oh, Jesus.
You're never going to fucking fuck
I'm
with
never
that guy.
going to do that again, right? Versus...
You know we have a skunk that visits us almost like every other night. I mean,
really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like
and
goes straight up in the backyard?
Mm-hmm.
Through the little crack in the hole?
Yeah.
Wow, how cute.
A lot. And I'm like, holy crap, please don't, Fawn, please just leave it alone. Not because Fawn's going to do anything to it, but
we'll have to wash her ass.
Because the skunk's going to get Fawn.
That's
anyway,
pretty cute.
It is very cute. He's always
skunks.
walking around with his big old fluffy tail.
Oh, I love skunks.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
But yeah, so like it's not normal for something to happen and another like animal, no, don't do that. And then now you have this curious ass animal. It's like,
there is though.
I do want to smack you. I do want to.
There is.
And then by the time they do it, it's too late.
Oh.
Because they see 10 of them and they can't resist. So they smack all 10 skunks. And finally the animal does overdose from like
That's true.
being sprayed. So to me, if our biology is meant to prevent us from danger by learning through little trials, I think it's really important. Like that's why there's times where like Taika's really cool, close to the pool. I know I'm a lifeguard. So I'm like, or I was a former lifeguard as a kid. I was like, if this guy jumps in, I'll jump in after.
You sound crazy. Former lifeguard as a kid. You're tripping.
I mean,
that just sounds. It just doesn't sound credible.
As in like junior high.
Fine. If I was trying to hire you, even then, if you were like, "Hey, don't worry, I used to be a lifeguard in junior high," I'd be like, "Bro, you're underqualified. Don't
How
even
am I
make that
underqualified?
Statement. Don't even make
I've been
that
trained.
Statement.
How am I underqualified?
In junior high, you don't even practice that. Whatever you were trained, and training a junior high person, I don't know. It's just you were trying to.
You sound crazy ignorant.
Really?
In junior high,
okay.
If you're doing things correctly, people can already tell if you're going to go to the Olympics. Half the people in Olympics in gymnastics are in junior high. They're like 13, 14-year-old chicks doing flips.
Right. And then they continue doing it, so their skill set,
okay,
their skill set is pretty sharp.
Maybe you don't know. Maybe you don't know my pedigree, but okay.
You're the guy that says you were diagnosed with asthma. You fucking dramatic.
I grew up in Cerritos in junior high. In Cerritos.
Junior high? Are you talking about 6th grade?
No, 7th, 8th grade. In junior high.
So let's put a number to that.
Hold on. Our swimming pool. The Cerritos Aquatic
13.
Center. The Cerritos Aquatic Center held the 1984 Olympic swim events.
Yeah, you were barely born.
Of LA.
Okay.
That's the pedigree.
You're not that pedigree.
My summer training, Coach Mark, shout outs to him. I don't even know if you're live. Coach Mark was one of the coaches on the Olympic team. In junior high, I'll probably outswim half of the high school varsity swimmers.
Point I'm making.
Varsity swimmers.
No shit, because you just learned it in junior high.
No,
That's
because
not the point.
of the pedigree. That's how crazy we were. I didn't even make it to high school swimming, and I'm a pretty good swimmer.
All I'm saying is
from my junior high training.
All I'm saying Well, right, but you're also really good swimming because you've taken classes and you continue to practice. So if you were like, if you were to make that statement, like you don't care that he's playing on the side of the pool because you're an avid swimmer and you're really comfortable in the water, then I'd give that to you. But the fact that you were like, I was a lifeguard in junior high, I'm like, you don't even practice any of that stuff.
Okay, so let me brag some more. Okay, let me brag some more. Okay.
I didn't even consider you bragging before, but well, why the fuck you bragging?
So
why the fuck you bragging?
So our summer program in junior high, we swam it as if like everyone is gonna get ready to go to some sort of CIF championship or go to like some national level high school, like the high school training.
I don't care what you did in junior high, though.
Listen to me.
Okay.
So our coach, he ran Olympic programs with kids. Okay. That's step number one. That's how much foundation has been laid. Foundation number two, I don't know if you know, but it is fucking hard to become a lifeguard. The test that you have to pass, how much you can swim with someone else in your arms, how much you have to hold your breath underwater, how much you have to be able to drag someone through a pool, and how fast you have to do it and under what time, it's really hard. So if you have 100...
I'm not saying it's not.
If you have 100 junior high kids trying out, you might only get 10.
All I'm saying is if you don't ride a bike since you were in junior high and then you think you can fucking... I don't know, catch a thief in a bicycle when you're in your late 30s, I'm like, you're probably going to be rusty.
No, what I'm saying is this. It depends on how hard you've trained. Like, look, if you...
All I'm saying is you're going to be rusty. And I just thought that statement was funny.
No, there's rust for sure.
That's all I was saying. You're like, you sound so ignorant.
No, because you said junior high. Look, you said junior high as if it's not even credible anymore.
All I was saying was that you were a lifeguard in junior high when you were 12, 13. Now you're 35 or 36. I'm like, that's been a long period of time or a stretch that you haven't done anything within life-saving, aquatic fucking life-saving skills that I'm like, you're going to be rusty. So for you to be that confident that it's like, don't worry, I was CIF champion in like high school for like football.
I don't need
like
to be.
I can do the touchdown when I'm in my 40s. I'm like, maybe you might be a little bit rusty.
Our Cerritos aquatic program.
Maybe don't. It's probably pretty good. I'm not saying that.
It's freaking sick that if you can make it to the junior high team, you're set.
Fine. All I was saying was that it's a funny statement for you to be making, that you're banking off your skills that you had when you were 12 that you never practiced in your late 30s, that for now you're like, I ain't sweating my kid playing by the pool because, you know, I was a lifeguard when I was like in elementary school, so we good. And I'm like, that's weird. That's the only point I was making. That's it.
And what I'm saying is it just shows that you don't understand how hard some junior highs train. That's all I'm saying too.
I understand that they train really hard. All I'm saying is if you don't practice,
that's what I'm saying.
You become rusty. That's it.
And what I'm saying
that you're not rusty?
What I'm saying is I'm not rusty. Then that's hard I've trained. So what I'm saying is depending on how hard you train, the rust takes a longer.
You're fucking ridiculous. You're so funny. I love this stuff. I love when he gives me these crazy, like,
it's not crazy. And you know why?
Statements.
You know why?
Why?
In the Marine Corps, I'm swim class 1. In swim class 1, to pass, you have to do a bunch of life-saving stuff. It goes 4,
that would have been
2,
way
1.
better of a statement for you to make.
But you know what?
I was a lifeguard in junior high.
But you know what? It's thanks to the lifeguard in junior high.
I'm sure they gave you the skills.
I already learned half the shit in the Marine Corps, and that was my mid-20s. So for me, I'm gonna go back to what my actual foundation is. The Marine Corps swimming program didn't really teach me that much.
Right, and
it taught me how to like make life jackets out of my trousers. It taught me how to do that. It taught me how to move around with a backpack and how to stuff all your clothes in a trash bag so that becomes an inflatable device. There's tactical things I learned, but actual swimming technique?
No one's talking about your technique. All I said was it's such a funny statement to make that it's like fucking 2 decades ago, you learned some shit and now you're banking on being like really sharp in a case of an emergency.
You know how this?
It's like,
you know how crazy this sounds like to me?
Oh.
This is how crazy it sounds like to me. Obviously, I'm not this person, but respects to this person. But I'm trying to paint a point. This is how crazy it sounds like.
Don't say some offensive shit.
No, this is what it sounds like to this person, to me. What you sound like to me is this. You're sitting with Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson goes, yeah, I think I could defend myself. I used to be a heavyweight champion. And then you're like, oh my God, heavyweight champion like 20 years ago. You could defend yourself? You're crazy. All I'm trying to say is that you have rust. Don't you have rust? And he goes, maybe a little bit. I still destroy a motherfucker. And you're like, oh, just destroy a motherfucker. No way.
Right. 20. Well,
that's what I'm saying.
I know. I love it. Wait. Wait.
What I'm saying is, Mike Tyson's like, but you don't.
Yeah.
Excuse me, young lady. But you don't know how hard I train. You don't know how hard I train when I was back then.
Says this fucking guy
I was an Olympics,
that went to
I won the
fucking
silver medal in the Olympics. You don't know how to train. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Okay, if you were at that level and you went to the Olympics and you made a living,
I went to the junior high fucking Olympics of Cerritos.
Suck a dick. You
Even
didn't
though that
do
doesn't
shit.
exist.
Exactly.
But I'm just saying that I'm trying to paint a point.
No, you're not
painting your
painting it.
fucking ass off at one point in time, look at David and his Taekwondo moves. I can tell that he trained Taekwondo his ass off because this fool's so freaking fat and he still throws kicks like nothing. And he's freaking like, I don't know, 45 now.
Why you gotta drag David into this and call him freaking fat? That's fucked up. Can everyone send this part of the video to David, please?
David was 200 when he was 8 years old. And you can tell he trained his ass off because now that he's 300, he still moves good.
All right. Well,
that's what I'm trying to say.
I like that I was able to affect his ego.
Hey,
that he has
you know what? Hey,
all
my Cerritos Aquatic Club people, I got your back. She's trying to talk shit about our Cerritos Aquatic Club people.
I never said that.
And all other water polo and swimmers in the world. I got you, okay?
Now, I know you guys are smarter than that, and all I was doing was making
diss swimmers and shit.
I was not trying to diss anyone other than you, and I was just saying it's a funny statement for you to be like, when I was 7, I did that, so I must be really good. And you weren't even at a level.
You've been saying the most offensive shit I've ever heard in my life.
You weren't even at some level that was like outstanding, or above average. So whatever.
Okay, I'm not trying to drag a freaking shark-bitten victim out of a pool along with a jet ski. I feel qualified.
That's what you're saying.
No.
That's what you're saying. That I went to like an Olympic. So we held the Olympics in 1984.
What
before I was even born.
What I'm saying is this. I think I'm qualified. I'm qualified to pull a 30-pound baby out of the water.
Okay.
That's all I'm trying to say. And you're like, no, you're not. No, you're not.
That's not at all what I was saying.
I'm saying my junior high training.
My
junior high training is enough.
Funny.
Is enough to help me pull a 30-pound baby out of the water.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
If I wasn't making fun of you, I'm even qualified to pull Tiger out of the water.
I do not trust you. Actually, I do trust you.
No shit.
Yeah.
And I didn't go to any fucking Olympic training center. And that's what I'm saying. It was just the statement that was funny. But then your little ego got hurt. So I'm like, all right, fine.
It's messed up. I can't believe that you would think Mike Tyson can't defend himself because he's 50.
He for sure can because he's a fucking pro.
That's messed up.
You're not a pro at shit.
Damn. I am.
It was just funny how fucking...
I swam where the Olympics were held, okay?
Bart is always down to die for the stupidest shit.
I swam where the
Look at what he's down to die for.
Held.
And the funny part is I'm down to die out for the opposing side. Like, I'm going to go against
Why do you think
no matter
we
what.
drive 30 minutes to go there so Taika could swim there?
Where? Where do we drive? 30 minutes where?
He started learning at the Cerritos Aquatic Center. Because the pipeline there is the best.
Fucking, what are you talking about
when he first took his swimming lessons?
I know, but you just dragged it to fucking years back where I'm like, it doesn't even count at this point.
Are you all you see is rust. Anything that's past like 2 months, you're like, oh, I guess this is so many years back.
No, it's not that I see rust. I just want to go against you because it's funny. Look at how riled up you get.
I love it.
He's awake.
Because I'm confident.
Oh, okay.
Let's do a test, okay?
What kind of confident shit is this?
It's a test.
I'm confident. Let's do a test.
Let's do a test. Let's throw Taika in there. Have him drown for like 30 seconds.
You don't sound very confident.
You save him, and then 30 seconds, and have me save him.
You don't sound very confident.
And see who saves him better.
Fine. You win. Fine.
I'll probably know how to jump in and save both of your asses.
Okay, fine. And you probably could do it.
No, you can't. I can't. But you're gonna be drowning. I'm gonna be like, no, you said you got junior high rest. Too bad. I'm gonna save just Taika by himself.
You don't sound like a confident person anymore.
I'm not, because you destroyed my confidence.
You're not serious. Are you serious?
Very serious. You broke my heart.
Swear to God. On God right now. On God.
Mike, I totally see why you got broken later on in life because you have harsh women like this destroying you.
Anyway, so that concludes this beautiful podcast of Destroying Bart's Ego. I absolutely loved it, and I hope all my friends out there loved it as well. For those of you that, never mind, I'm not going to say that. But yes.
What were you going to say? Freaking harsh
shit.
woman.
I was. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in and making it this far. And also thank you for our sponsor, Hydrant. That's DRINKHYDRANT.com/Bill and enter promo code Bill for 25 off your first order. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. And shout outs to, of course, me and my Bear's brand, Barbell Brigade. We got t-shirts, hoodies, shorts, supplements, all kinds of stuff. Got you covered. It is your center for fitness. And to achieve your success, make sure you go to barbellbrigade.com and go check that out. Peace.